you'll wonder, why did I get myself into this? Or what have I gotten myself into? But it's also the start of something really big. How many of you have at least a little case of butterflies this morning? How many of you have a serious case of butterflies? There you go. That's all normal. I made a comment to somebody the other day about people who want to be teachers and who feel anxiety. I'm thinking, okay, anxiety is awful, but it also is good, because when you're a little bit anxious, you tend to kind of be on the edge and kind of be waiting for things and moving forward. So a little bit of anxiety is not too bad. So those little butterflies, they'll stay with you. And I'll tell you something, I taught, how long was I in the classroom? 20 years? Something like that. And up till the very last year, and including the very last year I was in the classroom, I always had butterflies the day before teachers came back and the day before students came back. Because both of those are exciting times, and they're different, but they're really wonderful. Now, we're getting ready to send you out on a very important mission, because when you walk out that door and walk into a classroom, just like with your level 2s, you're the face of Marshall. And when you go out there, people are going to look at you and say, oh, this is what Marshall does for teacher preparation. And if we didn't think that you were ready to do that and could do it well, we wouldn't be letting you go out. So we are very proud of you, and we are very confident that you're going to go out and do a really, really good job. Don't let us down. It also means that you're going to be, again, anxious and have some questions. You're not supposed to know how to do everything. You're not supposed to know all the answers, and you're not supposed to know how to react to everything. So relax a little bit. There are going to be some things that come up that you're going to have to ask for help on. I always think of this as like pushing the baby birds out of the nest. You've all heard that analogy before. Well, the difference between that and what we're doing is we're pushing you out of the nest, but there's a net below you. So you've got something to fall back on. You've got people to help you, people to coach you, people to answer your questions. So take advantage of that, and don't feel like you're out there all by yourself. It's not like you can go to class with the same people you've been going to class with for 4 years now. You're going to be on your own to some extent that way, but you're never alone in terms of having people behind you, encouraging you and helping you out. So remember that we're still back here, ready to answer your questions, ready to listen to your concerns, even if you just need to blow off some steam or something. You know, there'll be somebody back here that'll be more than happy to work with you on that. Because as I said, there will be some days that are really challenging. If those days become too many and all in a row, then you got a little bit of a problem. So always ask for help when you see that you're getting backing yourself into a corner or something like that. So this day is going to start you on lots of information. Your head's going to be spinning by the time you get finished today, because there's going to be so much to learn. But you can handle it. You can do it. You can remember it. You can make it through this. And the next time I talk to you will probably be a few months from now, when you've made it through. You won't have very many scars. You won't have very many new gray hairs for some of you. But you'll be ready. You'll be in good shape. I'll give you one piece of advice that someone gave me years ago that I've always kind of lived by in terms of teaching. You're going to be facing, 15 kids, 20 kids, 30 kids, 150 kids over the course of a day, depending on what you're teaching. Think in this. Some of you have children already. Some of you are planning families and planning to have children. Teach those children, care for those children the way you want a teacher to care for your child if they're there. Because you're all they have when you're in the classroom. To help them out, to see where they're going, to make sure that they're getting what they need along the way. And just like your own children one day, there will be days when you think you need to strangle them, right?
Every day.
That doesn't occur to me.
Never.
But there will be days when you get really frustrated with them. But just take a deep breath and remember, they're still our kids. It is my pleasure to push you out of the nest a little bit today. I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful semester, and I'll look forward to seeing you again on the other end of this great challenge. Have a great student teaching experience. Thank you.
Perfect analogy. I love that. I'm going to use that forever now. I'm stealing it.
Hope you recorded it.
I know, I did, so I will remember. Thanks, Clay. I figured it out. All right, so like I said, we are going to get started right off the bat this morning. If you noticed, I started what time? 9 o'clock, right? Because that's what time I said we were starting, and that will never change. Whatever time I say we are beginning, that's what time we'll begin. So it's just good professional courtesy to make sure you are early or on time. Always remember that. Okay, so a few things today. I sent out the agenda. It looks like this, except without the Post-its on it and all the writing. I sent that out, I think, on Friday, so you should have been able to pull that up. I want to go ahead and preface with an apology that the room was ordered wrong, so it's not anybody's fault. Usually we will have tables, so I'm sorry. We've got to use laps today. Everybody will survive, though. I think it'll be fine. So we're going to get a lot done today. And I'm going to be back and forth here at the computer. So we're going to talk about just our expectations for this semester. Professionalism, which is really one of our most important key elements in this experience. Like Dr. Eagle said, you know, we are putting you out there with the Marshall stamp and the Marshall name, and you are representing Marshall University, and we want that to always be right here. We're going to talk about the TPA. Hang on. Can we all do like the dun, dun, dun? Have you all heard how awful it is? It's not. If you stay on top of this TPA and you do what's expected of you as the timeline falls, you will not be the week of the due date or the day before the due date firing it off. Okay? Don't worry. We'll keep you on track. We're going to talk about how the evaluations work, how our lesson plans will work. Dr. Lucas will come over and Dr. Watson will come over. They're going to talk to you more about that. Nathaniel Searles, he was our student a few semesters back. He was a student teacher, and he actually is a graduate assistant now for the Harless Center. And he is going to talk about the Harless Lending Library, which is something he's been really passionate about, and it's really cool, and I think you guys are going to really put it to use. After lunch, we're going to break for lunch about them. Dr. Backus will be able to talk about PDS opportunities that you'll have. Beth Waugh from Career Services will be here. And I know you guys are thinking, Career Services, I know this is a long day and it's a lot of information, but she has such good information about starting to put together a portfolio and starting to work on your resumes. So as soon as graduation rolls around, you're applying, you're getting hired. So, and then to end the day, Anna Holz, she's from the Cabell County Reading Council, which is really important as well to us as teachers. She's just going to talk to you real briefly about how to join the council, which is pretty cool. And then to end the day, you'll have some breakout sessions with your university supervisors. All right, so I know it's a lot. And you're going to feel like today that you are, like Dr. Eagle said, that you're on information overload. Please just let me tell you this. Don't get frustrated. Don't get overwhelmed. I'm going to email all of this to you. How many emails have you gotten from me already? It's a lot, right? Okay, I just like to get the information out, right? I like for you to have a hard copy of it. So, so anything we discuss or talk about, and you will get that information, usually about once a week, you'll get like a weekly update from me, and it just might be things that have come to my attention over the week that I needed to maybe address whole group, okay? So just look for that. It'll have due date reminders and things like that. So, are we ready to get started? Yeah. Okay. All right, so I'm going to skip this video, but it's really cute. Who loves Kid President? I love Kid President. If you don't know who Kid President is, I'm emailing this whole thing to you. You need to watch it. It's really great. This video is basically just about no matter who you are, somebody's learning from you. So just always, actually, let's just watch it. It's all right. It's 5 minutes. It's good. Not even 5 minutes. Here's the question though. I feel like I'm pretty techie, and then something happens and like there's no sound or it's really loud or something. So let's just say a little prayer right now. I hope this works. Oh, see. Okay. I should have been. Okay, moving on. How about watch that on your egg? Okay. You like that? See? That's what teachers do, and we just work on the fly here. All right, so everyone here has received a placement or some sort of communication regarding a placement. So nearly everyone except maybe 2 people here know exactly where they're supposed to, everybody should know where they're supposed to go in the morning, maybe not the exact teacher. We're still working out a few bugs. But the first day of school, everyone here should have already communicated with their cooperating teacher. If you haven't, when we break for lunch, that is an expectation I have for you, okay? So you need to ask certain questions. What are some questions you think you might need to know before you even walk in the door to school?
Where to park?
Where do I park? Because all schools are different. One school you go to may have this giant teacher parking lot. Another school you go to, teachers may even park on the street. Okay, so you got to figure that out. Where do I park? What's another thing you might want to ask?
What time do teachers arrive?
What time do teachers arrive? Because if school starts at 8, I'm just going to tell you that is not your start time. Okay? Whatever schedule your teacher keeps is the schedule you will keep. We'll elaborate a little bit more on that. So most schools have a 20 minutes prior to school starting arrival time. You need to know that. Okay, what's another question?
Contact information?
Contact information, that would be good. What if you wake up in the morning and you have the virus? You don't know what the virus is, right? It's bad. So what if it really happened tomorrow? You know, you would have to get in touch with your teacher really quick. What's something really important? This would be something I would ask. Hey, what do you eat for lunch? Do you pack your lunch? Or is there a refrigerator? Or do you get a tray? Like, what's going on? Because here's the thing. You do not want to be starving. You know what I'm saying? That would be miserable. So those are questions that I would go ahead and have already hammered out with my teacher. Okay, let's just pause for a minute, time out. I need everybody to look at me and smile and act like I'm funny and you're responding well and all of this because I really like that. Just kidding. Okay, so if the teacher says the teacher arrival time is 7:40, what time should you get there? I would get there 7:30, 7:40, 7:35. If you've never driven to your school, I would drive there just to time it, and then I'd add 10 minutes, okay? Where we live in Wayne, I bet y'all couldn't tell. That's where I was from. That's all a big surprise. Where we live in Wayne, they have backed up the middle school and high school start times 10 minutes this year, and it's the road I live on. And there's construction on the main road. I don't know if y'all saw this on the news the other night, but I'm living with a TV star right now because my husband, the principal, got interviewed, so I'm having to deal with him and all his glory right now. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, it was a whole thing because school's been in session 2 days, and all the kids were late the first 2 days of school. And so this morning, I'm like cracking the whip, you know, guys, we gotta get out of here, this and that. And I was still I counted 22 cars in front of me. And there were that many behind me. And it was 7:25. You see what I'm saying? So I was trying to get everybody dropped off and do this. So you need to really understand and leave a little bit early. Just sit in your car, chill out, I'll give you a couple of minutes, you know, if you get there a little too early. Okay, so you get to the school, you go straight in and you go straight to the office. No stops, okay? Even if your teacher says, oh, I come in the back door, just come in, We go in the office, you're gonna have your badge on, we're gonna talk about the badges, you have your badge on. You need to print out a copy of your permit off of the Department of Education website. It's a PDF form, really easy. I would have that like in a binder or a notebook, whatever you're gonna take with you. And you need to introduce yourself. If the principal's in there, the secretary, whoever is in there, you have to introduce yourself. I've heard principals say so many times that people come in their building and they don't even know who they are. And they just come in, sign in, you know, don't even acknowledge. You know, that's the leader of the school. You have to introduce yourself, okay? The next thing for the rest of the day is just to listen and learn, all right? This is a brand new classroom you've never been in, maybe. You know, you just need to take notes. You need to understand what's happening in the classroom. Classroom schedule, you know, seating chart maybe, if there's a seating chart. Start learning the kids' names. Those are all really important things, okay? Any questions on this? And we'll have plenty of time to stop. And if you have a question while I'm talking, write it down. Do not be embarrassed to ask a question because somebody else in this room has it, I guarantee, okay? All right, so professional conduct. You are expected to follow all school rules and expectations of teachers and really of students. When I say that, and all the little stories and anecdotes I tell you today are all real life. None of them are made up. I wish some of them were, because I've dealt with some crazy stuff in the past 5 years. But, you know, one time I got a call from a principal that said, will you tell your student teacher to quit eating candy all of the time? And I was like, yes, I can do that. And she was like, well, she's taking the kids to PE and she's eating a sucker while she's taking it. And we just don't do that. The kids aren't allowed to do that, and she keeps doing it. So when I say follow all school rules and expectations, that's what I mean, okay? You are there as an example, and so always remember that. You're expected to act professionally as the teacher in the classroom. So there we go. With regards to schedules, I mentioned this just a minute ago, but your schedule is expected to be the schedule of the teacher. That means if they have morning duty, you have morning duty. If they have lunch duty, you have lunch duty. If they have bus duty, you have bus duty. We do have some exceptions regarding that. If you have a 4 o'clock class here on campus, which a few of you might, we can always work those out. But that's just how it goes. All right. This is just part of life. You know, when I did my student teaching, one of my placement teachers had the early morning duty, and I did the early morning duty. She stayed late on Thursday afternoons after school to make all of her copies for the next week. I stayed late on Thursday afternoons. Okay, just do what's expected of you. Like I said, if there's ever an issue or a problem, we can always work that out. Now, there are some teachers who will stay till 5 and 6 o'clock every evening just because that's what they want to do. Are you expected to do that? But don't think that your schedule is from teacher arrival time at 7:40 to last bell at 3:10. Okay, that's not how this works. So we will talk about any kind of schedule conflicts you may have, and we usually work through those, no problem at all. Regarding confidentiality, this is a really, really key, important piece of information. We talked about this when you guys did level 1s and when you did level 2s. This is a profession where confidentiality is really important. You are going to have people come in maybe from DHHR and maybe pull kids to talk to them. You are going to have foster kids in your classroom. You're going to have kids who are going through some really tough times. You are going to have kids who maybe have some behavioral issues and they might have to be removed from the classroom. You're going to have kids that have lice, kids that are sick, kids whose parents are going through some major crazy things. And then you're going to have kids who just never have a problem at all, right? But all of that is confidential, no matter what. Do not get in the habit of chatting in the teacher lounge. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that, okay? Because that is a really bad habit to get into. And teachers can be cliquey. You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they can. That's okay. It happens. But be aware and be careful. Don't leave that classroom and talk about a child. Okay? I'm not making this up when I tell you this. There were 2 students. One had done a placement at a certain school. One was doing a placement now at a certain school. Same teacher, same classroom. They're talking in the line at like Walmart or something about this kid. They used the kid by name. Guess who was ringing them up? The kid's grandma. Okay. Another time, a student was talking very negatively about another teacher that they had done a placement with at a different school. Those 2 teachers were best friends. They just didn't teach at the same school. Okay? So you need to be really, really careful. Breaking confidentiality, and another item that we're going to talk about in a minute, are 2 ways that you can lose your job before you get your job. Does that make sense? Okay. One time, and I'm going to use myself as an example. One time I was chatting with my cousin's wife about her nephew. Not really, I taught at his school. And she was like, how's he doing? I was like, oh, he's great. You know, no big deal. And then it ended up, something else happened, And then she said I was talking about him out of the classroom. I didn't even have him in my class. I was just like, oh, he's great. I see him on the playground. I didn't say anything negative. I didn't say anything wrong. But it was brought to my attention that I did speak about this child outside of the school, even though I didn't think a thing about it. So just be very careful, okay? Stay positive. That goes back to that, chatting with other teachers and things like that. It is really easy to get overwhelmed and get frustrated and be down. But if you just stay positive about the situation, you're going to gain so much more from it. My student teaching semester was night and day. The first placement was great. I talk about it every time, and I'm sure you guys, I maybe have talked about it in level 2s. It was so good, and the teacher was so good to me, and she just told me to do whatever I wanted to, and would you just teach this and teach this, but it's your classroom, and I mean, we became really close. It was a great situation. And then I went to the next placement, and I cried every single day, going to school and coming home for the entire time, and I'm not exaggerating. And my husband would say, only 6 more weeks, only 4 more weeks, only 2, I never complained one time. I never complained even to my supervisor. She knew it was not a great situation. I walked into a classroom where the teacher said, this is how I do things, this is how you're going to do it, and nothing was developmentally appropriate because she had taught 5th grade for like 25 years and had just started teaching kindergarten. But it was not my place to say, you're doing this wrong, this is not okay, and I just dealt with it. And guess what? The next year I got hired in a kindergarten job, and all I knew was, I know exactly how I'm not going to teach kindergarten. So I moved on from that. I stayed positive in front of everybody, not in my car, but in front of everybody the whole time. And, and I blew off steam to one person, and that's how you do things. If there's ever a situation where you feel overwhelmed or you feel like this is just not the best situation in the world, I'm your person to talk to. Miss Rowe is your person to talk to. Your university supervisor is your person to talk to. Not other students, not random folks, not, even your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband or wife or your parents. Just keep that away from them. Just let us hear it, okay? Makes sense? Take everything as a learning opportunity. Every semester I have students who say, well, the teachers have a teacher PD day. Do I have to go? You have to go. Because you should want to go. You're going to be learning something. Something good is going to come from that. There are schools right now in Wayne County who are working with this group called Edwards Educational Group. That's awesome. And they are learning. I mean, I had student teachers out there last semester who learned so much. And you can put it on your resume, okay? That you've been trained in certain areas or with certain skills. And it's so important. All right, so just take every situation as a learning opportunity. Okay, the last bullet, and we talk about this all the time, social media, right? Okay. Do you think that we talked about this when I was in school? Watch what you say. No, we didn't. We didn't have to talk about this. This was not a big deal. This just became a big deal like in the last I think that we even added it after I came. I've been here 5 years. This was not like this crazy big deal. Okay, everyone in here has social media. I'm just going to go ahead and make that statement. If I'm wrong, correct me later. I know 2 people that don't have social media, my dad and my husband, but my dad reads my mom's Facebook, so I count it as he has it, If you have social media accounts, which you do, Facebook, Twitter, Insta, whatever you have, Snap, it has to be private. It should have already been private. If it's not private, I would do it immediately. I would do it today, okay? Because here is what happens. The first thing that happens is when where are my secondary people? Hands up, secondary people. Secondary people, you're going to walk into your placement tomorrow and you're going to introduce yourself, or the teacher's going to introduce you and they're going to write your name on the board, and what's the first thing the kids are going to do? Try to find you, okay? So the one thing they can see, what's the one thing they can see even if you are locked down? Your profile picture. We've talked about this over and over. Your profile picture should be appropriate. okay? Appropriate means this. You shouldn't have anything showing that shouldn't be showing. You shouldn't be drinking or holding anything that you wouldn't want, you know, a 6-year-old kid to see, or a parent or a teacher to see. And it needs to be appropriate. It just does. I would refrain from it being political, just because we all know how that can go. Okay? So if you look me up right now, you can. It's okay. If you look me up right now, my profile picture is me and my husband at a Marshall Bank. Nobody's holding a drink. We're just smiling. Staying's in the background. It's fine. Okay? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with anybody here seeing that picture. Okay? Have I been tagged in pictures that I wouldn't want everybody here to see? Yeah. At class reunions or parties or things like that. And the first thing I did was get on the phone and say, hey, untag me. Just part of it. All right? We, you know, your personal life is your personal life. But then again, it's not anymore because this is the career you've chosen. All right? So always understand that. Do not accept students as friends or followers on social media. I would be careful to accept parents and your cooperating teacher unless you feel confident that that's okay. But you feel like your social media account would not be completely offensive to someone. All right? Now, there are going to be people who are going to say, but what about, okay, so I go to church with these people, and all right, that's your business if they're already your friends. Or I worked with them, or that's fine. I'm not telling you have to go through your list and delete people. I'm just telling you to be very careful of people that you don't know and you're not familiar with accessing your social media accounts, okay? We were actually talking about the other day at home, like 5 years ago, it's been 5 years, my daughter was on Instagram and she was just doing this, you know, one of those things, and I just happened to glance over. I'm like, who is that? It was like a bikini pic or something. It was just a lot. And she said, oh, that's my math teacher. Okay, I'll just say this. I had never met this teacher. I wouldn't have known her if she was standing right beside of me. But what did I do? And I really am not a judgmental person, but what did I already do? I already had an idea in my mind about, ooh, you know, be very, very aware and very careful. Do not message students. Do not message parents. Just don't. I'm saving you a world of trouble. And I'm saving myself trouble because we have had people who have been excused from our program because of this. All right? We have had people who were Snapchatting while they were doing observations in the classroom with middle school girls. Grown men, middle school girls. We have had grown men who were coming in after a weekend who were student teaching and said, hey, I saw you doing da-da-da-da this weekend, because they saw it on social media. All right. Same for I had a female student who, you know, was in a high school, and some of the kids were like, hey, I saw you at Jake's this weekend. See what I'm saying? Okay, gotta be really, because she had it on her story. She had it on her Snap story, and they were following her. Be really, really careful. Does anybody have any questions about any of these things? Rules, expectations, schedules, confidentiality, or social media? If you do, write them down. We'll come back to them. It's not a problem. All right, dress code. So I ask everyone today, gosh, we are just ahead of the game, man. I'm feeling good about this. Okay, so I ask everyone today to dress how? Business casual, okay? So I typically just say that. That would be something that you could wear in the classroom, business casual dress. You're expected to look like a professional at all times. There should never be a moment where a parent walks into the room and they don't know that you are a teacher / student teacher, okay? You should never be confused as another parent or just somebody popping in, like a friend or a sibling, or, another worker in the school. You should be professionally dressed at all times. You should also have your ID badge on at all times. That is a no-brainer, okay? Especially in the world we live in today. When people come into a classroom, when parents come into a classroom, when administrators come into a classroom, they want to know who you are. And if they see that ID badge and it has Marshall on it, they know, okay? Somebody asked me if you need a new ID badge for student teaching. No. Your old one that just says clinical student, does it say clinical student, something like that? Teacher candidate, yes, that's fine. You're still a teacher candidate, okay? So I expect everyone to dress professionally all the time. Professionally means this. It doesn't mean high heels. It doesn't mean a suit and tie. It means you should look appropriate for the classroom. We don't wear jeans. We just don't. There will be days when you can wear jeans. Get with your teacher, kind of go through the dress code. There will be schools where there is no dress code. You're going to go to schools and all the teachers will have on jeans and t-shirts. We just don't do that, okay? We can allow like a Friday dress down day, something like that. And when I say dress down, I mean still professionally looking, still appropriate dress down. I don't mean I got up and I went to school in what I slept in, okay? Have y'all seen The Office, Casual Friday? Okay, we are not Casual Friday from The Office, all right? It has to be appropriate. So understand that. Be very conscious of if you wear leggings, that your shirt length is appropriate. These are things that I've had to address, so that's why I'm addressing them now. Make sure you have good hygiene, please, because that is the worst conversation I have to have with a 22-year-old person. Take a shower, wear deodorant, brush your teeth, wash your clothes. If you have a cat or dog in the house, make sure they're not like laying on your clothes or anything before you put them on. All things I've had to talk about, okay? Also, if you, and I'm just going to say, like if you're a smoker or anything like that, just be really careful, about making sure you brush your teeth, wash your hands, have a mint, all that kind of stuff. Because these are things that people pick up on, and it can cause a problem. So just be very careful of that. There are some schools, like I said, at one school I went to, and it's an elementary school, one of my friends teaches there, and she says, gosh, you can always tell who the student teachers are. They look better than the teachers. That's good. That's a good thing to hear, okay? So just be very aware of that. Be careful of, just what kind of shoes you're wearing. You're going to get your toes stepped on if you're in kindergarten. So you might want to, be aware of that. The first time it happens, you'll not wear those shoes anymore. So, or get blisters. You're going to be on your feet. You're going to be up and down. My wellness people just dress appropriately for PPE. Okay, cool. There are going to be special dress days, especially during this fall semester. Halloween rolls around. A lot of schools have spirit days and things like that. Totally dress up. I think that's a great plan. A lot of your teachers, your co-teacher will want to dress up. Do something together. Have fun with it. Just make sure it's appropriate. Okay. No Hugh Hefner. No Playboy bunnies. Nothing like that. Okay. So, that next to last one there, tattoos and piercings. That's sort of a rule we've inherited, but we've tried to keep to. Just be aware of that. If you have really evident tattoos, those will need to be covered up. Sometimes smaller tattoos, usually you can hide those better. When it comes to piercings, we do ears only. If you do have a different sort of piercing, I would take it out for the first day. I would go to my school and I would look at the atmosphere of the school. That's what I always try to say. Look at the culture of the school, okay? You might go to a school where, and I always say this, where it's like all the teachers are capri pant teachers. You all know what I'm talking about? All the teachers all wear capri pants, and they all wear teacher shirts, and they're all a little older, and they all wear Toms, and everybody's all professional and everything. And then you've got some schools where everybody wears jeans and hoodies, and then you've got some schools that are just a little bit different, And so just be aware of where you're going. We have had complaints where, it's a teacher candidate who had blonde hair but had dyed the bottom of it purple. went to a school, and it was a really conservative school, and she had on a really short skirt that day, and she had on high heels that day. So I got like the big phone call, okay? Just be careful, be aware. Guys, make sure that, you know, your hair's kind of, your facial hair is groomed. We don't need anything, you know, anybody talking about that. Nails trimmed. I mean, like, these are all things I've had phone calls about.
Food on the shirt.
Food on the shirt.
What?
If you wear your clothes on Monday and you eat a hot dog and you get mustard all down the front of your shirt, don't wear your mustard shirt on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday without washing it, okay? If you want to wear the mustard shirt on Tuesday, that's great, put it in the washer. I'm good. You know, we always say, you know, usually we will have a few students who struggle with maybe coming up with some dress clothes or things like that. If that's you, come to me and know that it is in confidence, and I will help take care of you, okay? We have taken care of students in the past. We will take care of students now. I understand this can be a tough time. Please don't stress that. However, you've got to make sure that your clothes are clean, okay? I don't care if you wear black pants and a black shirt every single day of your life. That is totally fine. I wear black pants usually 3 days a week, but I wash them, okay? They are clean. So just be very aware of that. Listen,
Like,
we try not to
the only
get
thing I'm
tickled.
missing- Like, I was late, and I'm sorry, the only thing I'm missing is what about the club clothes? You always talk about.
I didn't say it, okay. So, somebody said, you know, somebody's like, well, really, what should we wear? And I always say, you know, maybe wear what you would wear if your grandma and grandpa were taking you to Jim's Spaghetti on Saturday at 4 o'clock, okay? Don't wear something that you would wear to work out at the rec, and don't wear clothes that you'd wear to, not the club, but the club. Like you find me in the club, you know? I have this pair of pants and they're black and they have leather at the bottom, and I think they're really cute, and I wear them all winter, you know, whatever. And my husband always says, oh, you going to the club after work? Because he thinks it's fun. You know, he thinks those are just like a little flashy for me, whatever. Just be careful, okay? Make sure everything's covered up. Make sense? Because if it's not, somebody's going to call me. And then if somebody calls me, then I got to call you. And all of that is not fun at all. We had to have the deodorant talk last semester. It's miserable. I don't like having those conversations, okay? So just be very aware. I probably scared everybody to death. Everybody take 3 showers a day now. Okay, so attendance. I said this earlier, and I'm going to say this again. And by the way, if you're like doing this because you can't see, I'm emailing this whole thing to you. So don't stress it, you'll have it. It's the same as the classroom teacher. Your schedule is the same as the classroom teacher with certain exceptions. If you need to discuss those exceptions with me, that is a one-on-one conversation, okay? Let's say you wake up and you have the virus, okay? Now let me just preface with this. Who woke up this morning and they felt bad? Be honest. You're just like, oh, I'm tired, my head's hurting, I don't want to get out of bed, it's cold. I feel bad. We all feel. Listen, I'm old now. I feel bad every day, okay? But you can ask anybody around me. I will almost never take off unless it is a dire emergency. I'm deathly ill. I just don't. Because that's just not who I am. And that was not how, like, I was raised, you know, in my household. You just don't miss just a miss, okay? This semester right here, you definitely don't miss just a miss. And you will see me get a little fired up on this, okay? I have had people who have sent me this email. Dear Mrs. Priest, I feel bad today, so I'm not going to school. Sincerely, so let's say. I do not feel well today, okay? I don't feel well every day. But I get up and I get in the shower, and then by the time I have 2 cups of coffee, I'm like, yeah, okay, I can do this. Everybody should be, you know, able to get up and move around and stuff. So, but there are going to be times you're going to get sick, okay? Especially in elementary school. Kids have germs and they are just kind of gross, and there's going to be snot, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening. Especially as these seasons start changing, you're going to see kids that are going to get sick. You're going to get sick. If you get sick, you've got to do 3 things, okay? The first thing you got to do is you got to tell your teacher. You got to get on the phone. Most people love to text now just because it's easy. You might have a teacher who says, email me. You might have a teacher who says, call me on the phone. Heaven forbid, you will have to dial the phone and speak into it. Did y'all know that? Okay. So, let your teacher know. Because as this progresses, you're going to be considered the classroom teacher. You're going to have the lesson plans. You're going to be running the day. And if you're not going to be there, it's just like the regular teacher, real teacher missing, and then having to get a substitute. It's going to be the same way, okay? So you have to let them know first. If school report time is 7:30, don't wait till 7:15 to tell them, okay? At about, when you wake up, you're going to know, if you've been up all night throwing up, you know that you can't make it, okay? And I'm going to tell you something. They don't want you to make it. I have had people come into my office this close and say, I just left student health. I've got the flu. So, are you kidding me? I have been literally like this, okay, just back up. And I don't mean to be ugly, but I don't want what you have. And I would not do that to you. So the first thing you got to do is you got to tell your teacher, hey, I'm not going to be there. Then you need to let the university supervisor know. Why? What if they were coming out to see you today? And then they show up and you're not there, and it's a waste of trip for them. It's a waste of time, and they look like they don't know what's going on. Okay? You got to let them know. Third, you got to send me an email. Do not call me and leave me a voicemail. Do not send me a text or a remind. You email me, and make the subject line sick day or absent or something to that effect. I track every single one of these. If I find out you were sick and you missed and you didn't tell me, we will have a problem. Is that understood? Because I have to be on top of these things. Okay, so I will track that. This is an ASAP sort of thing. Listen, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you're like, there's no way I'm going to be able to go ahead and send me the email, because I'm not checking it until I get here anyway. Okay? All right. All unexcused absences have to be made up at the end of the second placement. What if you missed during the first placement? Well, you missed during the first placement. We keep those start and end dates very hard for the end of the first placement, the start of the second placement. That way everybody's on the same page. Okay? So our last day, I think it's December 5th, 6th, something like that. Whenever that rolls around, I give you a cushion. I actually have a week and a couple of days. That way if you do miss, you have some time to make up. Do we have people who have to make up after graduation? Yeah, almost every semester. Okay, we have people still going because that's just part of life, and that's just how this works. Okay, 3 tardies equals 1 absent. That means this: if you're supposed to be there at 7:20 and you get there at 7:22, guess what? You're tardy. Do you understand me? That is one thing that typically you have under your control. There are things that are going to happen. There's going to be a wreck on the interstate. You're going to get caught in traffic, or you're going to go out and your tires are going to be flat, things like that. I get it. But just simply not getting up in enough time and getting yourself ready to get to school is not an excuse, and we don't tolerate it. If you are tardy, listen, your teacher will let me know. They do not beat around, do they? That if you're tardy this week, they're going to be on it hey, they were late. And then I'm going to have to be on it. So, to just keep everybody at peace, be on time. So if you're tardy 3 times, that's an absent day. Can you get put on a plan of improvement for being tardy? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. The first semester I was here, there was somebody who was consistently late every single day. All the time. And we're not talking just a few minutes. We're talking 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 20. It was ridiculous. I go out on a Thursday, not making this up, and I sit down with her and I put her on a plan of improvement. It's Thursday afternoon. It's the end of the day. Do you understand? If you are late one more time, you cannot continue student teaching. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. Friday morning, your girl's not here. She she overslept. I would have slept in the parking lot if I didn't think I could get myself there on time. You understand? We do not tolerate it.
And she was dismissed.
And she was dismissed. That was it. Period. She was like, well, can I? No, you can't. I told you that's how it is. This is how it's going to be. Okay? So please know that. If you are absent 3 times, and we have not already talked about it, there are people who have some things coming up this fall. We have made arrangements. They are making up days. It's understandable. But if you just miss 3 times because you don't feel good, after that, you're on a plan of improvement. All right? I had somebody miss first day this fall. That is not going to fly. Okay? A lot of people will be taking PLT during the semester. If you haven't already, I can't excuse the PLT if you miss the whole day. Here's what I can do though. Let's say your planning is at like 1 o'clock, and then the kids come back for a few, like 30 minutes, and it's the end of the school day, and you schedule to take the PLT at 1 o'clock. We'll work that out. It's not a big deal. Okay. Same thing goes for like in the morning. If you would miss just a little bit in the morning, we can work that out. If you miss a half day, then we'll make up a half day. We'll have to make up a whole day. It's okay. All right. Just be really conscious of what's going on with our schedule and with the school schedule when you schedule those things. All right. The only unexcused absences are those that fall under the university attendance policy. Let me just say this. If you think you've got the flu, go to the doctor and get the excuse. Okay? If you get the excuse, snap a picture of it and send it to me. Email it to me. Don't bring it to me the day you've got the flu. I won't even touch it. I'm not doing it. Do not bring it to my building. Understand? Take a picture of it, email it to me. Ms. Priest, I've got the flu. They put me on for 3 days. They put me on for 5 days. Okay. You're not going to be on a plan for improvement. You have a doctor's excuse. You are really sick. This has happened. Okay? Do not stress this out. But just not feeling good doesn't count. Okay? Inclement weather. Ms. Priest, if school is closed in Cabell County for snow, do I have to go? Every semester. Every single semester. Y'all, if school is closed, no. That should be just the no-brainer of the day. I mean, if the building is closed, if there is a foot of snow and the buses didn't run and there's not going to be kids or teachers or principals there, you can't go. Don't go. All right? Now, Ms. Priest, the teachers have a meeting on Friday. Do I have to go? Yes. But my teacher said I didn't have to. Sorry, don't care. Do care, but you know what I mean. Find something to do. They might say there's not enough seats for you to attend this PD. That's happened. Okay. Guess what? That is a great full day for you to work on lesson plans or the TPA or whatever you want to work on. All right? Or they can leave stuff for you to get together. If I had one full day to plan as a teacher, oh my word, the stuff I could have done. Okay? So there you go. If there's a meeting, you have to go. What if it's a 2-hour delay? Do I still have to go? Just 2 hours late. I mean, know what the codes, different counties have different codes. Cabell usually has had like green, yellow, red or some different things. I think they might be changing that. Talk to your teacher and know what those are and have a copy of them and understand what's up, okay? Your teacher will text you. Sign up for the school reminds or the WSAZ or WOWK or whatever, you know, alerts if school is closed. My husband is a principal, and sometimes I will get the text from WSAZ before he gets the call from his superintendent to make the call out to the teachers. Okay? So just know, understand what's going on. We shouldn't have this semester, any worries about this, but in the past 2 springs, we have had teacher walkout and some different things like that. If anything like that would happen, I'm in, like, literally within 10 minutes, I'm in contact, okay? If you did not sign up for the Remind text alert, you need to do it. I sent everybody a remind last night, didn't I? See you at 9, pay attention to how you enter the building, which the door was locked, so you just still came on anyway, it's no big deal. But that is information I need to put out. 1 year, to start the January, the first day, our orientation, we had a big ice storm and school was canceled, like in Cabell and Wayne. And so I'm like trying to get a hold of everyone, you know, and some people just don't check their email on their phone, you know, and so that's a really quick way for me to reach everybody at one time, all right? So just please sign up for that. Does anybody have any questions? Yes?
What about like university breaks or university days off? How will that work?
Okay, well, guess what? You don't get those. No. You are on the schedule of the county that you're in, okay? It shouldn't be a major deal this fall. We always kind of run into some situations in the spring when spring breaks roll around. But for the most part, everybody during the fall semester usually take at least 3 days off at Thanksgiving to a week. Some counties take a week. So whatever time off from school that county has, that is your time off, okay? We are gonna have a few seminars where you're gonna come to campus. So you are excused from your classroom those days, you come to campus, we have a sign in, I check everybody off, you know, that sort of thing. And then you go back to class. But otherwise, that's really it. You know, I think everybody will be off on Labor Day, I'm assuming. You know, some schools may close here and there for, like I said, for like teacher PD or things like that. They may not have students, but they will still have school. So you are at the schedule of the county that you're in. Now, is there going to be a time when it snows or we have some weather and like Wayne County's going to close, Cabell's going to delay, and Putnam's will be on time? Yeah, guess what? You got to do whatever county you're in, okay? We obviously don't want anyone to put themselves in danger or get hurt, but, you know, we're all adults here. We all have to figure things out, so this is the time to make a plan. You know, think about that. How would I get to school if it snowed and I didn't feel comfortable driving, or, you know, my heel gets slick? Or, I mean, I've done all this. I've been through all of these things, you know, and so you need to go ahead and sort of get that in your mind. What would you do? Because if you do miss a day, you're going to have to make it up at the end if they have school. Okay? Anyone else? Yes.
I just wanted to double check on snow days. If it's one of the snow days where students don't report but teachers do, we would still come in and
Yes.
choose as like a
Yes.
planning day.
Yeah. Whatever your teacher, whatever your county, whatever your school is doing, that's what you're doing. Okay. Yeah, because I think like Cabell used to have like code yellow where students didn't report but teachers did, and that's one thing, yeah, you'll still do that. Anything else? Good questions. All right. We'll come back to this if we need to. All right, so requirements for success. You have to be there and you have to be on time. You need to be professional. And sometimes that can get a little gray. That can get a little blurred. You might be with a teacher that you did a clinical with in the past, that you kind of know already. Or you might be with a teacher who knows another teacher that you know, or a friend or something like that. You know, you have to stay professional all the time. Teachers like to cut out. Listen, we like to cut up and we like to have fun and, you know, joke around. But when it comes down to it, when it's time to learn, it's time to learn. It's time to teach, it's time to teach. Okay? You need to look professional, please, at all times. During your first placement, you're going to write a 5 to 10 day unit. This is the unit that you will use to write your TPA. Dr. Watson and Dr. Lucas will talk to you about that in a minute. One of the first things that you need to do tomorrow or the next day when you start in your classroom is to talk to your teacher about what kind of unit they want you to write. Some of them may say, what are you interested in? What would you like to write a unit on? Some of them may say, you're writing your unit on A, B, or C. Because that's at their discretion. Okay, it's their classroom. You are a guest in their classroom. I will say that multiple times during this semester. So whatever they want you to write your unit on is what you should do. Elementary folks, a lot of people take a FOSS kit. They'll write it on a FOSS kit. Or something that's coming up, it's fall. So, you know, pumpkins, leaves. Yeah, depending upon what grade you're in. Secondary folks, I would just look at the timeline for whatever is being taught throughout the semester. talk to your teacher. You know, if you are really interested in the Revolutionary War and that's one of the things that's coming up, then maybe ask them, would it be okay if I taught a unit on this? So that's what the expectation is for the first placement. During the second placement, you're not turning in a TPA. Okay? That always comes up. One TPA, first placement. Okay? During the second placement, though, we do ask that you write a unit and teach a unit. You're in a different classroom. You're going to be teaching almost every day anyway, and so we ask that you write a shorter unit there and teach it. Your supervisor will talk to you about how that all works and whether they want to see them and that sort of thing. You have to successfully complete the teacher performance assessment. That is a deal breaker, all right? It has a due date. It has to be turned in on the due date. You have to complete it, and you have to complete it successfully. Now, but what if we turn it in and it's not good? It'll get sent back to you for revisions, all right? You'll have a grader assigned. They will talk, you know, if they need to even meet with you. They've met with our students in the past. We have had people who, the day before graduation, we were still working with them on getting this straight, okay? It needs to be good quality work. Like I said at the very beginning when that first came up, do not wait until a week before. Do not email me on the day it's due at 5 o'clock, which was a Friday. Do not email me at Friday at 5 o'clock and say, Ms. Priest, I came home and the one singular copy of my TPA, because first off, who has worked on a 100-page document and only has one copy of it? The one copy of it was pulled up on my computer and my cat walked all over my computer. This is a true story. And now it's gone. Yeah. Everybody's like, what? Yeah, for real. And so guess what I said? Sorry, you better get busy. It's due at midnight. Okay? Not messing around, guys. You have to turn in quality work. At the end of the semester, you will be scheduled for a capstone interview presentation. With the capstone presentation, we will have a whole seminar about the capstone presentation. We will talk more about it. It's not really anything you need to worry about right now. Just know that while you're teaching your unit and working on your TPA, you just need to keep some artifacts of student work, and, you know, as you go along, take some pictures, okay? You'll be asked to kind of pull those up. All items have to be completed by the specified due dates. Okay, on this little thing I sent you, the TPA is due on October 17th. But what if I don't have it finished on October 17th? Well, you better, okay? Because that's what day it's due. Don't think you can turn it in on the 18th or the 20th or however, whatever day you feel like it. It's due on the 17th, which is a Thursday night. It will be sent to the graders Friday morning. Got it? Okay. You have to successfully complete both student teaching placements, and you have to have acceptable evaluations from the cooperating teacher and from the university supervisor. What does that mean? Dr. Lucas will talk to you more about that in a minute. We want everyone, you know that evaluation. You know how it looks, you know what I'm talking about. Let me pull it up here. We gotta get out of this for a minute. And this is something else that I want to show you while we are going to be on it. Okay, this is the PLC site. I've sent you this link a few times in the past. You will use this multiple times this semester to access information and documents that you're going to need. But if you will scroll halfway down here on the student side, you've got a few things that we're going to talk about. But one of those, let me find it. Lesson plan rubric, where is the, am I looking right at it, Dr.
I think Dr. Watson removed.
Did he say, oh, well, never mind.
I'm
Thanks,
sorry.
Dr. Watson. Appreciate
I didn't know where
that.
you were going.
That's okay. Okay, on the evaluation, it is listed as unacceptable. I don't want to use the wrong terminology. Okay, there are 4 spots. You guys know what I'm talking about on the evaluation. The best, next to best, number 2, unsatisfactory. Okay. Nobody can be unsatisfactory in any area. Okay. 1 unsatisfactory will cause you to not pass. We want everybody to be at least a 2 in everything, okay? What if you get straight 2s? You pass. That's it.